Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Edge. I think I'm just going to push this one out right away so I can actually be caught up on one of these character guides for once, and then I'll let last week's guides kind of be a little bit late. But Edge is a very good character. If you want to see how my polls went, that video should also be up. I just posted that one tonight as well. But Edge is basically an evade tank character, so if you like those types of characters, or if your roster is lacking any type of evade characters, it's handy to have at least one good evade character built up, because every so often they're going to throw like an evade orb at you or something where evading is really essential to beating a boss. So having at least one good evade character I do think is good. The other bonus with Edge is that you can now pull for him on a Garnet BT banner, which I would highly recommend you all pull on if you don't have Garnet, because she is crazy good. So anyways, in this video, let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the artifacts, the spheres, and then the guide here for Edge. So let's start with artifacts. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have any good artifacts farmed up for this guy yet, so I'm just going to tell you what they are. But basically what you want is attack 108 and max brave 330, or attack 108 and debuff attack up. Debuff attack up just gives them an extra 5% attack. So if you really want to beef up the attack, you could go attack 108 and then also debuff attack up and just go all attack. Or if you want a little max brave, put max brave. But some combination of those three is what I would recommend going with there. And then for spheres, if we go ahead and take a look at the spheres here, he's got an A, B, and a D slot. So he's got a few different things here, right? So the B slot is like your tanking slot, the D slot is a buff slot, and the A slot is an attack slot. So they're trying to tell you that this Edge kind of does a little bit of all this stuff, right? So in the A slot, you really just want attack or brave damage. The one thing with Edge, so I put Rydia Sphere on because he is a weakness damage character, but something that might go a little unnoticed is Edge is actually magic damage. So you could give him like a really powerful magic attack sphere if you wanted to improve his attack that way. You totally could do that. So just get your brave damage or attack in whatever way you can based on what spheres you have. And once again, he can use weakness damage, he can use magic attack spheres. For the B slot, you have a few options, like Snow and Gallop, which are very recent characters, so a lot of you might have refined spheres of them. They're actually just good straight up attack spheres. I put Snow on my Edge. Edge does lock as a part of his kit. He is a dodge tank, right? So he's a tank character, so he will lock. Snow's just going to buff the attack as long as the enemies are attacking Edge, which they should be if you're locking them properly, right? Now, there are some other spheres that like increase brave gain before he attacks. So if you're finding that you're not like capping on your brave very much, or you want to get a little bit more out of him, you could actually put his own on him. It does activate when he dodges, which works because he does have a counterattack that he gets now in his LD kit. So that's something else to keep in mind, is he's going to get a dodge counter now, which is kind of crazy, right? And then Celis and Zac, those also help with like brave gain. So if you want to go more brave gain, you can go with that. I feel like attack is fine here, so I'm going with Snow. And then on the D slot, you just want to buff the party attack. Ash, for me, is just a really good generic one that you can put. I refined a lot of her spheres, so when he grants a buff, you're going to raise the party attack. Edge does actually carry a lot of buffs, so Waka's sphere does work. I actually would recommend putting Waka on him. I think he's a good character for it. I just don't have any Waka spheres left personally. So Waka would be a really good one. Now, if I end up really liking Edge and I end up like I'm going to blue him and I'm going to use him a lot, I probably have a Waka EX sitting in my box that I could probably just max out and get a full sphere. It's probably what I would do if I was really into Edge. We'll see how much I like him here in this showcase. So let's go ahead and hop in. We're doing the same thing here. We're hopping in on the Irvine Intersecting Wills. I would run him on his own Lufenia. I just haven't unlocked it yet, and I just want to get this guide up like ASAP, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to hop into the showcase. So a couple of things here with Edge is he does get, he's always had thunder damage, but now he gets fire damage with his LD. So he is going to do fire and thunder imperil, which is going to give him weakness damage, right? So the thing that Edge does that's really cool is he gives party evade on his EX. But you know, he doesn't start with the EX, so you would have to bring like an EX charging character if you want to get that up right away. But you can use Edge to lock the enemies to him, and you don't have to worry about the party evasion yet, right? So that's what I would use. And then you just want to get them locked in, let Edge dodge out, and then once you get the EX up, the party I think the EX buff lasts for like 2 turns, but it's like 2 of Edge's turns. Let me just double check it here. Yeah, I think he gets it. Let me just double check here. Mirage, yep. He gets the Mirage. Yeah, it's 2 turns. So when his Mirage buff is up for 2 turns, the whole party has evade. So if you're running like speedy characters and like Edge gets pushed back or use turn manipulation, you can keep that up for a while. So the reason why this is so good is because as we get into Shinryu, and this is why Edge is good in Shinryu, Lufenia orbs go away. And Lufenia orbs were just like undodgeable, they auto kill you. But in Shinryu, it's more about watching out for just very powerful attacks. And since there aren't Lufenia orbs, as long as the attacks can be dodged, you can really abuse Edge. So, like Realm, I did a character guide on her recently. Edge is also a very, very good Shinryu character, right? So let's just go ahead and we can just kind of go through. His skills here really quick. So let's go ahead and just start with Shock. Shock is a pretty basic attack. It gives him a max brave up buff, and it does have thunder damage on it. Okay, so nothing too crazy there. We're going to let Garnet kind of go ahead and do some crazy stuff here. The thing with Shock, though, it's good for filling the EX. So it is something you can open up with. It does have high turn rate. So that is one thing that you can get from it, right? All right, let's have Garnet use her AA. Then we're going to have Garnet use her burst attack. We're going to try to make Edge look really, really, really good here, right? Smoke Screen is what gives him the lock. So that's just 35. So you just want to make sure you keep that debuff up so that the enemies are locked on. Now, it is only a 1-turn lock, so you have to be careful about that. So early on, normally what you would do is you could open with lock to get the lock on. But since Shock was high turn rate, Edge pulled himself up before the enemy. So I'm actually going to be able to get both of them off. So if you can get both of them off, you could use Shock first. I'm going to show you guys a little trick here that a lot of people probably don't know. Even some veteran players don't know this trick. I think I've talked about it in another video, but let me just show you something here really quick. All right. So if you're looking at the turn order, right? So you see Edge, and then you see BA, and then the other 2 characters, and then BA, and then Edge is way, way in the back, right? If you click and hold on a skill, if the character jumps turns, it actually shows you where their turn will land if you use the skill, right? So if I click and hold on Shock here, see how his turn jumps up there? I'll show you again. We'll click away. See that behind Cisne? If I click and hold Shock, he actually jumps turns. So you can see that high turn rate in action. Now, we've already used Shock, but that's why I opened with that, because he jumped up. He's getting another turn now. So now I can lay Smoke Screen on, which is going to lock the enemies right before their turn. And then Edge's own evasion should carry through here. So what's going to happen is they're going to try to attack Edge. Yep, and they're going to miss because he's got evasion. And now he's got this new counter, and that comes from the LD. Now he's got that red scarf overhead. That basically stacks up every time he attacks and cycles. It's actually kind of like Cisne. Cisne does the same thing, except Cisne's LD locks it at the highest level, so it stays there. Edge's won't do that. It'll just keep cycling through. But it goes up, I think, 2 or 3 stacks, and then it gets its most powerful form, right? Let's go ahead and just do this with Garnet. And then we should see another dodge here with Edge. So there is a little bit of finesse to Edge, especially early in the fight, because his lock is only 1 turn. So you have to be very careful about how you're playing that, how you're doing that, right? Actually, no, their lock is showing 6 turns. The infographic might not be updated. Hold up. Let me just double check. Yeah, so he's going to get the miss. We're going to get the, the counter there. And you can see his red scarf is at 2. So 2 stacks is the max. So it's going to just get more damage on it, right? Oh, yeah, his lock is actually 6 turns. The infographic is wrong. Sorry, I use Tom Berry Troop's infographics while I do these just to kind of help me out, especially when I'm less familiar with the character. But yeah, Tom Berry Group has it at 1 turn, but it's actually a 6 turn. So that's good. We got a 6-turn lock, so we know we're locked in for a while, which is really, really good. Cisne, let's just go ahead and do this. Okay. Oh, gotcha. So, sorry. Corrected myself. So, it is a 1-turn lock, but the LD extends it by 5 turns. So, I didn't realize that. That's my bad. So, Tom Berry Troop has it right. It's just that the LD extends it. That totally makes sense. That's kind of what I was thinking it would do. So, basically, you just kind of want to attack through. Let's go ahead and do the LD here. We'll just pop that off so you can see it. Very cool. It's got Rydia in it also. Love that. Pretty decent damage. Once again, that's going to do fire and lightning resist down. And then once again, it does improve his lock to multiple turns. Very, very good. All right, so now, yeah, and then we're going to get this awesome. This is with the 2 stacks. We get the Phoenix attack. Very nice. So and then you see the Scarf resets to 0. So you get that really big Phoenix attack with 2 stacks. Very, very cool. I'm kind of liking how he's turning out here. All right, let's go ahead with Garnet. We'll just kind of keep attacking here. And I like that these enemies are fairly aggressive, so we're getting to see his counters come into play. So a couple of things that make Edge very good, right? One is since we're not worrying as much about dodging, or not worrying as much about Lufenia orbs, dodging comes more into play. But the other thing is because he is also a counter character, it's going to help with turn count. It's the same thing I talked about with Realm. What makes her so valuable in hard content in Shinryu is that when you have these tighter turn counts, you need characters that give you free turns or free off-turn damage, which Edge is doing that, and he's also helping the party tank. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the EX here. So this is going to give the entire party evasion. Yeah, very nice damage there as well. So now, if anybody in the party got attacked, as long as his 2-turn buff is up, the party now has all of that evasion as well. So we're not going to see it because the enemies are still locked, but we'll just watch Edge counter. And it's kind of cool because then these counters just keep building up, and then we're going to get that big Phoenix attack, right? Let's go ahead and just attack again here with Garnet. I am liking Edge. He is a very, very cool character, right? Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just do this. All right, let's get another big fat counter. I want to see this Phoenix counter again. Looking very, very good here. So here it comes. We got the miss, and then the big, yeah, this big Phoenix counter. This is cool. Yeah, Edge is definitely a cool character. And Dimensions N9, I think, is going to give players an appreciation for characters like this and like Realm. I think, especially if you're a newer player, like if you started playing during garbage time, like you don't really appreciate like what a really solid good character does because you've been able to coast with basically almost any team and just coast through these really easy Lufenia pluses, right? But even for me personally, like as a veteran player, like I've played through all of it, but I even found myself getting like almost snoozing on these fights. I just coast through them and expect to beat them right away. It was kind of nice and refreshing to have a fight that was like, yeah, this is challenging. I had to try it like 5 times to get that DE9. It's a very hard fight. And honestly, DE9 is like a preview of Shinryu. Like they're showing you like the HP on the bosses is just insane. So I would say if you're beating DE9 now, you're almost beating it early. I think they really built it for like force characters and force gauges. So I think if you can't beat it now, don't worry about it. But you saw Edge their counter and finish off. Very efficient character. I think he's a very cool character. Once again, if you need the dodging type character, you need that off-turn counter damage. Very, very good. He's got lightning, thunder damage, and apparel. He's got the weakness damage. We didn't really see it in play here because the fight was too short. But trust me, it's going to come into play as we get into harder fights. I will probably use Edge on his Lufenia Plus. So when I get out that video, we'll hopefully show him off a little bit more there. But I'm already thinking about DE9 and fights like that. They're going to be very long. They're going to be very drawn out. A character like Edge, you're going to get a lot of longevity out of him because he's doing so much damage through countering. I think he's going to be very efficient with his skill uses. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think of Edge. Very, very cool character. I was going to say he's probably the best LD in this cycle, and now being on a banner with Garnet, it's almost like a must summon. So if you guys are looking for good characters, pick up Edge and Garnet. That is a fantastic banner. Let me know if you guys have any questions on Edge. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys all on the next one.